All right, so we got minutes out. I guess there were no minutes. What happened to the minutes from February or,
March
March.
13th.
yeah? What do we got?
Yeah, we did March. February was Lynn's.
Yeah, and she, I mentioned to you, she took notes and, all right, you want to get in touch with her so we can get those?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Get them in your-
Actually, Lynn joined us.
She did on the screen last week.
meeting. Yeah.
I watched all you guys. I studied them.
How did we perform?
Damn.
Well, I can barely see you.
Yeah, I got my bald spot.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you poked your head in. And, otherwise, yeah, you did a great job, Tom. It's good practice, dress rehearsal
Yeah, the dress rehearsal
for
well,
taking over the
I
chair.
got a worm. It's in the brain.
I
I
got
think
a
about a
worm.
quarter of my brain has been eaten so far. I also have mercury poisoning.
That's a long-term thing. Don't worry about it.
Worm in the brain, that explains it.
Mhm.
I mean, for RFK doing it.
So we don't have any minutes from them, but we do have the April 10th minutes. After reviewing that, do we have any corrections? I saw a couple of typos, real tiny things.
I saw should be early bird instead of a bluebird.
Yes, yeah, I saw
Oh,
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I
didn't-
thought
Yeah.
Bluebird was an old name for it. You know, all these old local names.
No,
I told John my brain's a little scrambled before the meeting.
The
Sorry,
worm.
yes.
Confuse them with blueberry muffins.
Scramble.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah,
do you hear that? His brain is scrambled,
at times.
as in eggs.
Mhm.
Mhm. All right, so then there
Hence
was
the
a,
early bird.
there was a run
Lynn just
on.
joined.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Can you? Oh.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Lynn.
Oh, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn, we're talking about you a minute ago. You should have been here.
Oh,
Congratulations,
sorry, I was trying to get in.
congratulations
On what?
on being the new chair.
Oh,
Or just voted and, we,
Oh.
You're in, Lynn.
no. we're
Great.
just- But, the minutes from, the February, was it February or March? Which one?
February.
If you got those, can you send them over to,
Yeah.
Jen here so we can get those finalized? Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, so, in today's meeting, we have, let's go ahead and, sound off. We'll start with me, Craig Dalton, Chair.
Ken Brack, secretary.
Jim McKenna.
John Bartlett.
Tom Vendetti.
Dave McKee.
And,
Lynn Carrera.
okay, 11 members. So we're fully staffed tonight, right? That's cool. All right, so there's one.
Yeah, I
other
would have been
thing.
there in person, but my dog was having a meltdown with the thunder and the lightning, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet. There's more coming.
Oh, really?
I know. I know. I
Okay.
was like, I don't want to leave her alone. She's just losing her mind. So apologies, I'm not there in person.
There's a co-joined word here somewhere, but I highlighted it on my other copy, but I don't have it here. It wasn't anything important. There was a thing here, though, that I watched the meeting, I say. And it said you agreed to ask Craig to talk to the owners of the former townhouse. That's not what you guys said. You said we should wait to talk to Craig about before we discuss it with them.
Where does it say that?
It's like the last paragraph.
Which one? Number 10?
Yes, number 10. Mhm. They agreed to ask Craig to talk. So anyways, you can agree that we're gonna talk to the owners about it. All
Wait
right.
a minute.
All right, remove that we asked you to talk.
Yeah, I don't quite remember that being said either, but
Well, I think
Maybe
we were
that we
gonna wait
would
till I
ask
come back
you.
to discuss.
I
what was
think
gonna
maybe that we
happen.
would ask you if and when kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But, that's all I had. Anybody else have any changes to the minutes from April 10th? No? Len? No, okay. Did you get your
I'm good,
QR
thank
code?
you.
I did, yeah.
Try it.
I stuck it somewhere on here.
Works for a week, I think. But I was just trying to see, one way to do it. And did it take you to the Historical Commission's webpage?
Oh, I didn't use it. No, I just copied it. I didn't know what it was for.
Hit the QR code.
I don't even know how to use these.
Well, get your phone out. Show.
Yeah.
Can you hold it up?
Can we take a
It's on
picture
your
of it?
minutes. You have a
I know, but I
minute.
couldn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You couldn't do it with your own phone. like
Exactly,
mine
yeah.
is My wife's
Same with
phone.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
So you click that
Yeah,
little yellow.
goes right into the town's
Alright, So,
website.
let's
Good
see.
job.
I go like
Yeah.
this.
Historic House plaque program.
Wait a minute.
the thing is with that is
I
that
just hold it over
this
so
is
you get it
only
all
good
in
for a
there.
week. You
Now
gotta
hit that
rent
little,
them
hit
or-
that.
or-
Oh, where it's
It's
www.
yellow, yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Will that come up every time? I mean, will the,
So
Will that
if
little
the
yellow thing come
QR
up every
code
time?
works, it'll bring a little
All
box
right.
up and that brings it
oh,
right to
good,
the
all right,
website.
well, I learned something,
Yeah.
that's great, I'll forget it.
And on the gravestones, it would be a little page for that particular stone.
Well, that's the thing,
Well, yeah,
okay, because this went through the town's website and our page kind of on the website. And then theoretically, we would have someone enter in whatever else we want to have people to get to
right.
by, links or, not links, but much as
Yeah.
bullets and on the website. Now, who enters that? I don't know, who puts that information on? How much can we put on the town website? I don't know. This thing here is anybody can make these up real easy. And, but the thing is, in order to keep them going, you need to have some sort of server that people's phone goes to and it sends it to, the town website for us. And that costs money. And I don't have a really good database for that, so how much it costs or whatever, or whether the town can do it, because, the rigmarole we went through before with this, but I'll investigate further.
Sorry, which part costs money?
But kind of like the hosting of where this goes.
Right, but you don't think the town's website would be able to host it?
The server, you mean?
Yeah.
Because when your phone goes on, I think it goes to this company's, it's like QSR or something. Goes to this company's server, which redirects everything to the town.
Oh,
I don't-
I thought it went directly, I thought it somehow, I didn't know there was that QSR intermediary.
Well, that's a company
Right,
that made
right.
it. It's, they're not selling these, but they're selling their services by the month, basically.
But do you know if you have to do that? I thought you could make up a QR code. I thought there's like an app you can use, like at school, that's what they do.
Yeah.
It goes directly, I thought it went like directly to the registrar's page or I'll let me.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
make a QR code with any website.
Yeah, and go directly to
link.
that website. You don't need to go through, I don't think you need to go through an intermediate like QSR and pay them money.
Well, I think the facility that you have, like, I couldn't do this, I think, on my own. You need to have some sort of server where the phone accesses, the other people's phones access, that brings it to your website. Now, the town might have their own, the school might have their own, I'm sure they probably
Yeah.
do.
The library even.
Do we, here, I'm not sure. And so if we don't, I think you do have to pay us, otherwise these people wouldn't be making any money. And they're renting these things out, with unlimited, number of people can use it and all this stuff. I'm not proposing we spend it on it, it's just, these
Yeah.
questions are out there.
Yeah.
And, but you can make the number and you can direct it to a website. And then there's the talk about, do you need like a landing page for these things to go to make it easier for people? I think one of the things that the company that sells these does is it allows you to have access to the data and you can change the data anytime you want within that. So we still have more research to do on the QR code. It was just a sample of what it's
Yeah.
supposed to do for us. And it would be real nice if you had a different QR code for every different thing you want. Like we're talking about with the memorials to veterans, which is doable because they're not a super large number. But if we were going to do it with, let's say, 100 different veterans' graves or whatever, it may not be workable that way. You may have to go to like our website or a web page with the town's website here. And then people can scroll down the list and say, oh, yeah, I want this, hit it. And that information comes up to me.
Two things came up this week about veterans' graves. Can I talk to you about that now? While we on the?
Well, yeah, I think I'm just getting more questions about this.
Well,
We
I
can-
was gonna ask Dave, I'm sorry, for the Veterans Memorial Committee, has there been more movement to trying to get? Because I know we had offered to provide some content for some of it if needed, but for them to
As far
set
as
this
the
up.
QR goes?
Yeah.
No, there has not been more discussion. But I know they're still open to it, moving forward. I don't know, there hasn't been a lot of discussion with the veterans group. but it's still open. I think what some of the different members on the veterans group are thinking, or originally were thinking, is about out front with a new memorial out there and having QR codes interfacing with other memorials in town. Because there's 8 or 10 or something like that, different memorials in town. Interfacing with those. And then the discussion went to old burial ground and veteran stones and different things. Part of the discussions open up, but there's nothing definitive. It's still wide open. And that group will stay. I know they're interested. That group will stay as part of a working group for months to come. But I think we need to, if there is fees involved, if there is a price tag involved, we want to stay, I think, communicate with that group, because I think they would be willing to help us out with that.
Mhm.
You know, especially anything to do with veterans or the memorials, or maybe even stones, I don't know, but no, nothing definitive has come out of any of their meetings as far as QR code.
It's one of the things though that came up this week about QR codes. I went down to visit Priscilla downstairs where I'm working on the 300th book. And I was asking her lists of names of World War I vets, World War II vets, and so on and so forth, veterans. And she was reluctant to give me any lists of names. And because of privacy concerns, she was concerned about these names being researched, information being put in a book. She said that there are privacy concerns here. And I suppose there are. I mean, it's something that has to be at least discussed. I met a vet in Evergreen Cemetery, and I talked to him about QR codes. And he said, "You're not going to put a QR code on my grave." I said, "Why?" He says, "I don't want anybody, finding out anything about me. I'm not going to have them. I will not have it." And I realized I was surprised. So what I'm trying to say is, privacy issues have to at least be fleshed out a little bit. How do we, if we want to do this, I think it's a great idea. A little bit of history, I'm all in favor of that. But we also have to there are families here.
Mhm.
If it's a dead vet and they have a widow in town, she may not want people coming up to the house, knocking on the door saying, finding out about her husband's service and so on. So I think that things have to be fleshed out a little bit and not just automatically stick a QR code on everybody. And it'll be a big research effort anyway,
Mhm.
but it's another thing. Beyond the technical aspect, there is, I guess, privacy issues here. So
Yeah.
I'm just offering that up.
Good point. And what are the other things? Is that the two things?
That's it, Priscilla, talking to Priscilla.
Okay.
And so I didn't get the list of names,
Okay.
Isn't that all private public information?
I think what's the veterans probably.
After a certain date, I don't know what the
Yeah.
time frame is.
I don't either. We could investigate it, but even then, I think we have to be sensitive, even.
Yes, yeah.
Regardless of what the date may be to get the information.
And currently, like the census, we were asking Paul Gallagher about this because we love to try to get a handle on for the book, like of the actual percentage of residents who served one way or another. But Paul has said it's self-identified on the census, so it's not like necessarily the real number because not everybody would maybe do that. So that's, in a sense, that's public, but that's you're not going to be taking everyone's name.
Right. Yeah.
I did just get some feedback from the registrar. And so in that office, she just has a free app that she uses to create the code. It literally creates the code for you. She sets it up to link to a particular link on our webpage. And there's no cost, there's no intermediary.
Mhm.
our school does host the information that you're linking to. But, apparently we don't use any kind of intermediate that sort of like converts the QR code into the
Mhm.
link and then sends you to the link. It goes directly to the link and you can do it all independently, according
Who's
to
the new registrar?
Wendy Maybe.
Wendy.
Yeah. And she
Well, I'm going
said,
down, I'll be down there tomorrow, so I'll talk to
yeah, she said she can hook us up if we're interested. So,
Amazing, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Dr.
and I can follow up on some of that too. I'll take a look and see if I can learn how to do all that. And
Yeah, it shouldn't be hard. It's
I
just-
don't think so, but I think the key thing would be if we wanted to, like, Tom's concern, I think is quite valid, but then on the technical side, it is just, is the town willing to host the data
Mhm.
on their,
There will be a cost associated with it, though. Like, just to give you an example, if we decided to pick, 10 monuments, they each will have to have their own individual web page. If you want to QR code the monument, then to the web page. But if you wanted, Craig, to your point, to go to the web page and then there's the list of the 10 monuments, that's only one web page and one QR code. But if we want to load it and have it go direct, like you were saying, to the thing, then we have to have all those web pages. And I know that like the websites are billed based on how many, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes of data are on there. So
Yeah.
if we were going to create a bunch of additional pages, the town might want us to pay for them or something toward it,
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll look more into that,
Yeah.
see what we can do. And I'll talk to the town here too. That's the QR code business right there. Did anybody go to the webinar that I sent the information out on from the NAPC? Well, slackers. Jeez.
Too tired.
All right. Ken, were you able to get the information to get emails now addressed to the CP?
Not yet.
All right, because people may be emailing us and we don't know the one KHC email.
Yeah.
So let's check with our, do we still have a IT person here now?
I believe for a short time, yes, and then
So-
they're gonna be contracting through a company after that.
So you might want to get in touch with her and as soon as possible and get that email shifted over. Old Burying Ground Civil War grave restoration contact. I heard about your, I listened to you last week.
Yep.
And I missed that. That's something. Right? And I really think so. And we should probably decide this thing tonight here, right?
Yes.
So what were your guys' thoughts on that last week? I mean, you had 3 estimates, right?
Yep.
And there was gravestone restoration services, there was colonial, and it was Daedalus.
Yep.
did we get any more clarity? I know there was one that was like much
Cheaper.
cheaper.
The New Hampshire one.
Yeah, did
Yes.
we figure out why?
He-
Or is it right? Or,
It's right, he didn't state why, I did speak to him, there were some questions about, what he uses for epoxy, so I asked about the epoxy and I asked about the pins that he uses. If the stainless steel, said her the stainless steel actually eats it away, and he said that he doesn't use pins. So maybe that's part of it being cheaper, so that's really the only specifications he gave us, and the epoxy he uses and the lack of pins for resetting them.
One
Did
concern
we
we
get
had
any
was,
sense of whether just epoxy versus pins, like, is one a better method than the other?
It's my sense of it, and this is just my sense, is talking to each one, they kind of are like used car salesmen in the sense that theirs is better than the other, and they say, this is gonna work because of this. And the other one says, well, this will do this to it, so I do this. So I really, they
Right.
all have they've all had good reputations and, I've spoken to places that have used them, they've liked them, but in the long term, what's gonna last, I can't say for sure.
I think it's kind of standard practice they used to use pins.
They always had,
And then
yes.
it was, they used iron ones, that's what caused the problems.
Iron,
And then
and
they
then
started
stainless
using.
steel, I guess, does
Yeah.
cause problems, and now the one company, Cornerstone, uses a, like a space age polymer that doesn't affect them at all supposedly.
I was just looking at these numbers here on the two, did that answer your question, Len? Maybe
One
so.
of our concerns last month was that company is in New Hampshire. They're coming all the way down from New Hampshire. If there are problems, we got to get people down here from New Hampshire. Colonial is close by, very close by. We felt that they would perhaps be more attentive. They've done work here in town before. They did very good work in Evergreen Cemetery, so we've got a good, very good rating from Evergreen. So I think we were kind of, we didn't take a vote. We wanted to wait for you, so I think we were kind of interested in Colonial. Even though the expense is greater.
I was looking at the numbers here, and the New Hampshire one was, they had 13 stones and 4 tombs.
Yes.
And this Colonial one right here, it's like they've got, well, they got 13 and 2 tombs.
No, it should be 13 and 3 tombs.
Okay, how come those 4 on this?
So
one?
what happened was, when I did the original proposal,
Mhm.
it was before the project was done by Daedalus, and we had mistaken one of those tombs for having a Revolutionary War veteran in it, and it was assumed that that one was gonna be done by Daedalus. After the fact, I'd already done the proposal, gotten the money, and Daedalus didn't do that one because there was not a veteran in that. So there was actually 4 that needed to be done and not 3, but the proposal had 3. So I mentioned it to all of them, and the one from New Hampshire actually put the 4th one on there, included that in the price. The other 2 just bid out what I put the contract out for.
So we can assume then if we wanted that 4th one, they would do it for whatever.
They're listed as it being in there, and then the Daedalus was over by several $1,000s, and Colonial was underneath. But they're the only one that put the stipulation in there. If there's unknown problems, they will come back to us before they do any other work. So
Mhm.
if that doesn't happen, there's some leftover money. I don't know if that would be enough to do that 4th one.
And what do we got in there? Well, how much money we have?
24,500, I believe is what I budgeted. So, Daedalus came in at 27,000 even. The Gravestone Services of New England came in at 9,575, and Colonial came in at $21,025.
Hmm.
Do think part of the reason that we excluded the New Hampshire company last time was the low estimate they had last time as well.
Well, it wasn't really the lowest, but we kept asking for more information on,
Why they, yeah,
on
not
what
exactly
they
the
were, how
low,
they were
but
gonna do it.
why it was so low, yes,
Well, yeah,
with the not
Why
getting
would-
the answers.
so they weren't communicative in that aspect. I don't think it was this dramatic difference, was it?
I know it was significant, I don't know if it was as
You know,
this comparison.
more than twice as much.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Something. So we'd have to have a real good reason really to not go with them. I would think. It's not a low bid thing. We can pick how we want,
Mhm.
but we have to have a reason.
It just seems unusually low. We've had, remember, had Cheryl in here doing individual things.
Mhm.
It was very expensive.
Yeah.
And for one grave, just to do the Bradford grave, I think it was like $700 just to do basically the Bradford grave was just a cleaning, and then she did some fill around the top because it was beginning to delaminate, and she didn't reset it or anything, you know, and that was paid privately. So I don't know, just
Well, I think we discussed this last time too, was that they were trying to get their foot in the door down here.
yeah, it could be.
And that they were, low bidding things so that they could get work done, and then next job comes up, they could ask for more because they've got a proven track record. That was one reason that we thought. It's not for sure, but that was a theory. I don't know, did you find out about one of them you said was gonna go down to the top of the tomb? Or whatever,
That was, the Colonial, and they said if they come up with any issues, they stop the work and contact us and tell us what would need to be done next,
but they were gonna remove all the brick down to the base.
down to that base, yeah. Not to the base, just to the base of the dome,
Yeah, wherever that is.
yeah,
Would
The
be-
Daedalus didn't do that before.
no,
No.
I saw them do one and it was
yeah,
in
they
the
just
dirt.
go right to the dirt, yeah.
They went in the dirt, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's,
And his reasoning for
probably what
that
I'm saying.
is, after several years, that structure's gonna move like it does now, because it's just sitting on dirt instead of a solid base. But by going back onto the original tomb, he says it sets it better,
That's
and
a
keeps
good
it from
point.
moving.
It's a very good point.
and these guys, did you ask them about that? If they do that?
Which one?
Either of them, the other two?
Well, we saw Daedalus's work, they didn't do that, I did not ask, the New Hampshire company, no.
You know, the Civil War graves aren't all that bad off either. For the most part, it seems to me they need cleaning.
That is the majority of them,
There are
a
some
lot of them
that,
are listed to be reset, because they are somewhat
Tilted-
moving,
tilted a
but,
bit,
yeah,
yeah.
but some of the resets are very minimal, like a clean and reset by one of the companies is $145. Another one is $275, so like, and then if there's some damage, they're upwards of, like you said, $750, $850.
Yeah, oh,
Yes, yeah.
And who doesn't, I'm sorry, who doesn't use the pins?
The company from New Hampshire.
They don't.
That's
Yeah, I have no idea, but it just does seem to me structurally a pin is gonna provide better support. And I'm believing the used car salesman is telling me a polymer is not gonna have a chemical reaction with a stone like a metal would. So, and it's not gonna degrade over time, so. Again, I don't know anything about this, but I'm kind of buying into what Kelowna is saying.
And I know, like I said, I've seen their work firsthand in Burial Hill. You
That's
guys-
true too.
You guys, and
I've seen burial, yeah.
the stones I saw in Beverly Hill that they were actually working on were, the limestone Civil War era stones, were the same ones that the majority of the work we're having done.
Yeah,
Yes.
So I just looked real quick and there's a website for cemetery conservators for United Standards. And it looks like there is, to your point, John, I think you're exactly right. There are some people who think pins are always the way to go, and other people who think that epoxy is always the way to go, and then some people who argue using a combination of both. The drawback for pins appears to be if they are not, if the person isn't, very detailed and careful and the pin doesn't exactly fit, water can get in, which then can freeze and blow up the stone, which then ruins the point of the repair. But the epoxy has some of its own drawbacks in that depending on how that's applied and to what kinds of stone and where, it can cause some discoloration and such. So it appears, at least based on this United Cemetery Conservators group, that it's more about the person doing it and making sure that however they do it well than it is the way that they do it.
mhm.
You know, looking at the estimates too, the New Hampshire group, that their conservation repair and resetting 13 veteran gravestones, 13 of them, they're all at $275. Whereas the other ones go through one by one and sort of outline what they're gonna do. And, you know, the more extensive ones are like 850. The ones that are simple, clean and reset are 145. And it does make me want, like, I don't know, is New Hampshire one really gonna get into significant restoration, or are they just thinking, I'm gonna treat them all the same, just come out, clean them and reset or
Yeah.
something?
Oh, by the way, getting back to pins, I saw Daedalus use pins
Mhm.
They do
They-
use pins.
and they appeared to be metal to me.
They use the stainless steel,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
stainless steel,
Yeah.
yeah.
they use titanium too now. No.
I don't know,
Well,
that's a possibility, I'm not sure.
so drawbacks, the good thing, let's say we were gonna compare, because Dayless is over budget. right now, okay? That came in over budget.
They came in over budget and they really
And it
didn't,
doesn't include the fourth.
it doesn't include the fourth and it didn't list everything out either.
Okay, so if we were to choose Colonial over this, the benefits are the description of their work's more detailed and priced. The track record here, you've seen them,
Mhm.
although we had heard bad things about some work that's been done before this. But since you've used them in Evergreen and you've seen the work down Plymouth, they've got, everything's been good. They do use pins,
Mhm.
okay, which I think it's more structurally
I
sound
think so,
thing,
yeah.
so it may be a benefit. The drawback is,
I would just add in non-metal pins. you know,
Yes.
Yes,
polymer
yeah.
pin.
Also an advantage, I think, is they're local and they're accountable. We can hold them accountable because they're local.
Yep.
It's,
mhm,
and I know he's very, as a matter of fact, I spoke with him yesterday for Evergreen. There's 2 stones we need to have fixed down there. And he's very responsive. And does get back. He's busy as hell right now. I can tell you that. I
Mhm.
know he's busy as hell. So there could be a delay as far as the work goes, but he's accountable. If you have any issues, he lives in town, or he doesn't live in town, but his business.
There's
is
a
in
business
town.
in town, yes.
You can't be
Yep.
into a local. I think that has it over New
I was
Hampshire.
gonna say I can walk down the street and yell at them.
Yes,
Yeah, but I
yeah.
know there's pros and cons.
Um. So the drawbacks would be the cost,
Mhm.
okay, and that the fourth tomb's not on here.
Yep.
So this one does have $4,000 remaining on it.
it does. So I don't know, if you look at that, the tomb that we did exclude was the least damaged of all of them.
Mhm,
And if you look at his prices, it's slightly above or right around that range.
mhm.
So if he doesn't have any other money that he has to use, it would probably be close whether he could do that one or not. I think that's a conversation to have with him.
Okay, so that would be one of the things we want to do.
Yep.
We can do that. So I guess we could justify this then if we want to do that. Do we have any other comments about it? We have a motion to offer the work to Colonial Stone then?
I so move that we accept the proposal by Colonial Stone to repair the Civil War graves and the box.
With the additional possibility
With
of
the additional
the
possibility.
fourth box.
Yeah, the fourth box.
Yeah. Get that, Kim? Second? Who said second?
And Dave said first.
Okay,
I said third.
all right then, all in favor?
I,
Aye, and Lynn,
Yes,
what?
I.
Aye, okay, so it's unanimous then, and let me talk to the purchasing officer tomorrow just to verify everything is kosher with this.
yes, we can do that.
I'll call, then you can call him.
Yep.
Who is it now? It's Tricia's like assistant.
I think Tricia
Right.
has, it's technically the town administrator, but I think Tricia has,
What happened to the other?
she left the town.
Did she?
They got rid of the position, we're gonna get rid of the position, she ended up leaving the town.
Okay, I'll check with Tricia.
Yep.
Good, okay. Good, thanks for all that work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great, Sean.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You guys, I heard you mention about the Pine Ways Road show PBS with the Plato Turner.
I think Lynn saw that too.
Didn't you see
she?
that? I think she was talking about, yeah.
Yeah, finding your roots.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that's
Some
interesting.
Finding your roots.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
oh, you were there, you were at the meeting.
I don't recall,
Maybe you're not capable
Well, I don't
of it.
recall, it was on finding
Oh, on
Louis
roots.
Gates thing. I thought it would be like, the history stuff.
So I was amazed at that. That's very interesting.
Mhm.
And I was thinking for the 2026, we might be able to get them to come and do a spot or something here,
Something, yeah.
have them come down and give a lecture or a talk about that finding of things. So does someone want to investigate, ancestry, what's the show? Finding your ancestors?
Finding your roots.
Yes, yep.
Let me just say one thing. they always choose celebrities to find their roots.
Yeah,
It's not like ordinary people, like they're not gonna take Craig Dalton and find out your roots. You've got to be like a rock star, a movie star, television personality, musician or something.
all those.
So I don't think, I'm not sure you'd really get anywhere, but there may be other avenues to think of.
No, I'm thinking of having that, not necessarily the guy who they started this thing with, the rock star, whoever it was, they worked back to. Who was it? Who was the one they started with, the ancestor?
He's
Billy
an
Gates.
actor and his name just escaped me. It's Joe. I'll find it for you, but he is a
Oh, I
television
see.
host.
Okay, but I was thinking, not necessarily that guy, but like Gates, isn't he local? Isn't he in Boston?
He's in Cambridge, lives in
Yeah.
Cambridge.
And he comes down, does a talk and they show the show here, like at the Adams Center
Yeah.
someday or something. And
Maybe he'd
Like
be
a
willing to give
Yeah.
a talk.
that's what we're talking
sometime.
about,
Okay.
like in
Alright.
2026.
We could also contact them because they only get like a 10-minute clip on the show, but he may have like a lot more information that maybe didn't even make the air that he might be willing to contribute either to the book or, something along those lines. It might be worth it.
Yeah, I know we gotta watch out for the person, personal information again, but the stuff certainly that was on TV is fair game, but I would
Sure.
think that would be something that the committee
Yes.
might be interested in having a night where he comes down and talks and, goes through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look at Plato Turner though. Because part of Parting Ways was in Kingston, another part was in Plymouth. And I think only one of the residents of Parting Ways was counted in the census in 1800. The rest of them were all
In Plymouth. Yeah, so, some of, whoever does the research, if I have time, I'd be willing to do it too, but I know it was applied for the National Registry of Historic Places, and it was given, and the town of Plymouth, I think, did that, and then they turned it over to us. So we actually have it as, I believe, as the, Historic National Register. Yes, I gotta double check
that.
But also in the, I can't remember if it's the 60s, 70s, or 80s, and I think this is when they went for the National Register, the Plymouth Plantation at the time sponsored and had an archaeological dig there. So there may be some research through that too as well, that you may be able to find.
Hey, Lynn,
Plymouth Plantation sponsored it, yes.
Yes.
can you check, just go online and check at Mass Historic and see if the Parting Ways is under Kingston and Plymouth?
Yep.
And then.
So
you can
the
use-
individual's name is Joe Manganello.
Manganello. Okay. All right. That's an idea for the big events. Powerhouse Restoration, I got an email from our facilities director, and they said they've started work again on the powder house. But I was kind of amazed because he sent pictures and it looks like they're not doing all the clapboards. We'll pass that around. And I asked him about that. I said, why aren't they replacing all the clapboards if they're going through this work to make, I guess they use an old method to make the clapboards, an authentic method.
Yeah, the clapboards that are on there, are they very, very old or is
Oh,
that why they don't want to take them off? I don't know what
I don't know, but I asked
Yeah.
him about it and we'll see. They haven't done the back yet, which looks like the whole thing's gonna be done.
Yes, and Rob, his last name.
Yeah,
is
Rob,
something- Rob, and he's interested in seeing this finished.
Oh, yeah, who is it?
And he was talking about how they're going to, the plan for them to restore the roof line. Because the roof line is a mess right now, the way that it is. Because they tore off the back of
Yeah.
of the actual powerhouse. But he believes the way that it is, and after talking with Michael Burry, that that is going to be restore the roof line, so, it's more
March for some
symmetrical,
Mhm.
the way that it originally
This
was.
is Plymouth.
Yeah.
For some
So
reason,
I
I thought
think
it
that's
was
gonna
turning
be
to
done
us, but
pretty authentic.
It's Plymouth.
it may still be Plymouth though, but. that's
Talking
what
with
it's wrong
Rob,
for.
I get the feeling
See it
that
again.
if, if the current
That says Plymouth
person
Road.
that's
That's
working on
Nottingham
this
Road.
is not
Oh,
Once it hits
motivated to
Plymouth,
finish
it's
it,
Plimpton Road.
to get somebody else to finish it.
We'll
maybe
check
if
that
they're,
out.
You know, even if they're not, as maybe noted as Michael is,
Historically, no.
yeah, but it's, but get the project done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure CPC at some point is gonna say, you know, let's get this project done.
Yeah.
But they've got some of the materials, the shingles and whatever, all stored inside, so. Hopefully that gets done sometime early this summer.
Mhm. So it's right out there. I mean, you want to take a look at it sometime if you want, right by the old townhouse. See the pictures.
I did, yeah,
Oh.
I did see them, and I've been up there.
All right. I got an email from Pine. I don't know if I sent this out to you guys or not about the axe head they found out there. Actually, they didn't find it. Dennis, what's his last name? Dennis, Martin, the, art guy that goes out collecting.
Oh, my
Used to
gosh.
collect artifacts around town, Indian stuff, Native American stuff. He found this out of a load, I guess it says right on the load of a stone from Carrera's bog a long time ago. It was coming out and being shipped out. They, you know, they land it out there for the bogs, and a lot of Native American stuff was lost, just like it was over there on the fields, over in Powell Fields when they did that originally. There's probably a lot of stuff out there that was just lost. But anyways, this was a stone that was found that he has that was acquired and it was off that land. So Pine's been asking us, you can keep that. Pine's been asking us about whether we, you know, whether we should put more effort historically behind this purchase. That they want to buy the Carrera property out there. The whole thing with house and barn building and whatever. So just to let you guys know. Any comments?
Do we know, I didn't ask Pine if, has Dennis, I mean, if he still has this, or has that been,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think
shared
this is,
with
a-
the tribe, or?
I think this is a recent picture. Yeah,
Oh,
ran,
and she mentions Linda Coombs, okay. Forward. It's a tribal member.
mhm. So it's a tough thing, you know, with all these things from the natives. People got years ago and now they're coming out.
Yeah,
What do you do?
I don't know. To me, it's a big question mark. A load of stone taken from someplace. I mean, if there was a pit with somebody was digging that could be located, you know, it's, I don't know what it all means, except it's an artifact.
Well, I think it's just indicative that there was probably more over there somewhere.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
And
this
this could be an
all-
encampment of some kind, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that would have any bearing on the sale of the property.
Well, it's on the purchase, whether the town.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And so I mean, they're putting forth effort to buy it, but I guess the price is too high right now.
Yeah.
And, it's down to you, right? Fairway property bonds. No, I guess not,
No.
27.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any sense of the scale on this? Like, trying to figure out. how
no, I
big
know
that
it,
is.
that stone there, it's below it, it kind of looks like it's maybe
Looks like
Eight
a
to-
piece of curbing.
8 to 10 inches long here, maybe the stone is.
Yeah,
The accent.
It looks very large to be an axe. I mean, I don't know. You're right, it could be very small.
yeah, I'm looking at that little weed in that first picture on the left and trying to figure out,
Mhm.
but yeah.
That would help, yeah.
Yeah, I
6
wonder what he's
inches.
gonna do with his collection once he, you know, when it comes time to retire from that.
Is this, Mr. Martin, is he a local?
Yeah, he's been
collector or-
collecting it for years, collecting these, going out and dig, a long time.
And keeps that or sells it.
Oh, he keeps them in his collection. He lives right off of, Main Street, just, on the other side of three.
Oh, down, just past the Gaboni Post American Legion there, on the right.
Yes,
Oh, you
yeah.
back there?
Mhm.
Okay, I know, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I didn't know he was a collector. But, yeah.
We tried to get him on the historical commission years ago, but he didn't want to do it.
That is interesting.
So I checked the National Register and it appears that Parting Ways did get a mark in 1979, but it's still
Yep.
listed as being under Plymouth.
Yeah, that's what I just found here. I don't know where I saw that they had turned it over, so I'll have to do research that again.
But it's our anniversary and part of it's in Kingston,
The majority of it's in Kingston,
Yes.
yes.
so I don't think this should be good for
Yeah.
us to do this. All right, Civil War grave update, we already, basically, that was a duplicate, so,
That's one thing I want to mention about that on Saturday.
Tom,
Please.
at the last meeting, I know you were running it very well, and, got to the last item of business, and you said, oh, well, this is the last item on business. And I'm thinking, oh, it's almost over, and then he goes, but I do have some more new things I want to talk about.
No, it's not new. It's about Civil War grave update.
Okay,
Resetting,
what, Lynn?
No, I was just gonna tell you I found it. It's Joe Manganello. He's actually Sofia Vergara's husband. I didn't realize he was that level famous.
That
Um,
level, huh?
But
How do
he
you
was
spell her
in
name?
he was in Magic Mike and hosted 3 TV shows and everything else. So he actually might if he actually showed up, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Sorry, that was unimportant.
No, it's interesting fact. Okay, but anyways, so Civil War,
Civil War graves.
Yes.
Saturday, I'm going up to the burying ground and I'm gonna reset the markers because in the winter they all kind of.
we still have those 2 bronze ones.
Yeah, I'll come by and get them.
They're
on
straight,
Saturday.
I straighten them out. But, I talked to, whether they're made in Concord, I guess, when they were cast.
Oh, yeah.
And his number's on them. So I was thinking you could probably find out, there's gotta be a record somewhere who got that number from this
Oh, I see
company.
what you mean, yeah. Yeah.
But the company's no longer in existence, and I
Yeah.
talked to the, if it's Concord, the historical society out there. They didn't have any records, but I bet you somewhere along the line, those can be traced.
Somewhere would be nice.
Yeah, someone must have kept them somewhere.
But I'll pick those up Saturday morning, or
Sure.
10-ish or so. But I'm gonna also do the Revolutionary War graves. I got a metal thing, I'll stick it in the ground, and make a hole and then put them back in. If anybody wants to join me up there, get them all set, and then I guess the Boy Scouts are coming to put flags in.
They'll be coming in the next few weeks.
Yes.
Unless something happened over the winter, I replaced all of the Civil War ones. I do have a couple extra if you need them, but I have some extra
Yeah.
Revolutionary ones if you
I'll
find,
just check.
if you find you need some.
Yeah, great.
So what day and what time?
Saturday, 10.
Saturday,
10-ish.
10-ish?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over first to Craig to get 2 markers and then, just go up and just try to get them in the ground.
Uh-oh, fire. Are you on duty?
On call, but you don't have to.
Okay.
Respond.
All right, update on 300th book project. I heard last week's update. Anything new?
Tom, you want to add anything?
Things are just going everywhere. We have all of our employees, I guess you would call them. We have an editor, we have a copy editor, we have a designer, we have a photographer. So we're just working a lot on just getting everything together. We have information coming in on a whaler, that whaling information. Person, yes, a record book of a whaler. Did you get that?
Logbook, yeah.
Maybe you sent a logbook.
Yeah,
I mean,
And the whaler was.
Mary
built
Jones
here?
Stevens researched it. Out of New Bedford, 5-year trip South Pacific, the Erasmus, something, I'll look it up at the web.
Stetson or something, right?
Which, but Elizabeth Stetson, one of the occupants of 217 Main Street,
Yeah.
Mary Jo and Ken Stevens, corner of Green, obviously. She looked up generations, 4 impressive families going back to when the house was built. And then she has the whole, it's just fascinating, the kind of thing we're excited about. Just
Right.
Really, and all sorts of graphics and pictures and the Kingston Sweet Shop, was it? She just researched it all.
But where did it come from?
Some of the archives, some on her own leads, and the logbook, I'm not even sure where she found it, but.
Does she physically have? the
Yes.
logbook? Like,
Well,
she didn't, it wasn't in a museum that she referenced, she actually has it,
I'm
or?
not sure I could ask her,
Yeah.
but yeah, she transcribed like a couple of the beginning entries as they leave.
So these people lived in her house?
Yeah.
Families lived in her
Yeah.
house, and they were whalers.
One of them was, yeah, Charles Stetson, and not that unusual, I guess, for those times, but his wife Elizabeth went on 2 multi-year journeys with their son Charlie, like a 5-year-old boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she kept the log, she kept a log.
Yeah.
Like a diary.
Yeah,
But what I'm trying to say is the stuff just is coming in.
yeah.
And which is very exciting and a little bit overwhelming, but we're going in all kinds of directions, and it all has to do with the town, it has to do with history, including recent history. And how it's all gonna come together, it'll be exciting to see how it all turns out, but we're not for want of stuff to do, how we.
Aren't there some Stetsons buried in,
Tons of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of Charlie's.
Yeah. It's old time, they were manufacturers here in town, they were big name, Stetson.
And she probably knows where he's buried, but just have one thing for anyone. We're putting together a 4-page prototype that'll give people a sense of the possible cover and the types of material, and then we'll be, looking for sponsorships going throughout town, both for businesses and just people who can want to help out on a, modest level,
Right.
affordable level. So
Yep.
we'll have that out probably in a month or so.
Summer
Early
we'll be knocking on doors and sending out mailings to individuals, and so there'll be a lot of names we'll be looking for. And we'll actually be looking for you to give us names who we should contact, and people that may have moved out long ago that love the town and are interested in history.
I was talking to Pine the other day, and something about down there at the landing. And she mentioned that, oh yeah, they had a minesweeper down there. And they go, "And a minesweeper down there at the landing?" He said, "Yeah, I guess it was after the war. Some people that own the landing or at the boatyard or worked the boatyard, they bought a surplus minesweeper from the Navy. And it was there at the dock, at the boatyard.
See what I
And
mean?
I says, "Do you have any pictures of that?" She says, no, I don't, but might be able to find some.
Good
So, I
God,
mean,
it keeps on giving.
it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
what the heck's that, nobody knows,
Jeez,
you know,
the minesweeper that came to Kingston, I can see
Yeah.
it now in an article,
up the river, up the Jones River.
up the Jones,
Up
yeah.
the river.
Yeah, so it's very exciting.
Okay, 300th anniversary committee.
Nothing really new. We're just breaking into working groups now to try to go through all the different items we're planning.
And you still have some vacancies,
Still plenty of vacancies if anyone's looking, yes.
plenty of vacancies. Plenty of vacancies. Okay, I listened to Peter, Cobb's, when he was here last week on the video, on the Sylvia Pond Dam removal. And interesting questions you guys raised about, whether it's a scenic,
Historic
landscape or whatever. Thing well, there's 2 points. One is the state's mandating the dam be breached. And I mean, we can check into further of how critical that is to be done, but from what I've talked to the people about in the past, the engineers and whatnot, I guess it's kind of like they got to do it. But we can double check that. The other thing is, the dam's still gonna be there, even when they breach it. They're not gonna remove the dam, that's all gonna be there.
Oh,
Except,
yes.
well, yeah, they're not gonna plow down the hills. I guess it'll be a slope down to the new water level or something. So it's not like they're removing the scenic landscape except for the water. And so that's another point. The other point is, and that's actually, shoot, I didn't ask Pine about this. I think I saw one after the other. It's actually meant to improve the fish flow up there.
Yeah.
Not harm them. So, you know, the arguments to keep it and not breach the dam, except for the water level, if you want that vista, they really aren't there, because none of the other historic sites will be damaged. You know, the dam's still gonna be there, the fish will swim better. And it makes it safer downstream for the people that live there. So I don't, see, the only thing I guess we could really check on is, and I was going to, was check with the state on that category of removal. And if there is any opportunity not to, why maybe they shouldn't. That fish ladder, as we talked about at our meeting before then, fish ladder basically is gonna be there. I think I brought this to the last meeting.
Yep.
And so that's not gonna be destroyed, and we asked them to fill it, and they're gonna fill it with fill, not really destroy it. But one thing he said was there was a mill or something over there on this dam too. Not the one where we saw it right by the entryway.
Yeah,
Yeah, the way I heard him, I thought he said there was something over here, and when they breach it, it might have been where the old fish ladder is. Did you guys get that feeling or not?
I didn't. I got the
Because if you
feeling that-
take that out,
Yeah,
it may be, maybe that side step on the fish ladder was part of an old
yeah.
mill back then, but I don't know of anything there.
I thought he was talking about something across the street, across,
On the other
Elm
side of
Street.
Sylvia Place.
on the other
yeah,
side.
yes.
I thought he was talking about some kind of a mill or wheel that was on the other side of the street.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
That
I
was-
heard that too.
that was on the Blueberry Patch Part, I believe.
But they're always talking
Yeah.
about this removal, destroying an historic thing, other than just the dam itself, the earth and dam. It made me think, maybe he thinks that was where there was another mill.
Yeah.
A water wheel. And there is a little bit of difference in the cement structure there, but I think that was a resting pool. I'm not certain.
Yeah,
I think his argument was more about landscape. The landscape of that whole area will be changed. Is it really necessary?
Mhm.
Is it really going to improve the fish's habitat? I mean, by doing it, the fish habitat, I don't know.
Yeah.
and he was concerned about the place where the cannonballs were made.
Mhm.
And I think that's what
You
the
guys have laid
foundation
his
is.
field,
down the
his
top.
fears for that. You
Yeah.
talked to him about that.
Yeah, and I said, well, maybe we can get people in there to clean out all the brush that's in there and put a nice sign and, or, you know.
Well, I think that's a good idea,
Yeah.
get that area cleaned out and to get an educational sign put in there.
So it won't be forgotten,
Yes.
you know, it won't be
Yeah,
forgotten.
because it is an important area.
Yeah.
It's very right on that.
But yeah, I said, even if we could put a stay on changes, it would be very, very brief. I mean, you know.
Oh, we can't really, we don't have that. Well, demolition delay applies to structure, but I guess you might be able to do something.
But it would
Yeah,
be.
it would be brief.
It would be brief. It wouldn't, we don't have that kind of
It'd
authority.
be up against the state on the.
Oh, yeah, I know. It would be impossible.
The information he gave, did he give you information last week? You're talking about the stuff he gave you, as far as his, mother's writings and all that.
I had stuff with him, but I don't know if he turned it over to us. I don't believe. he did.
No, he did give us some things. when
Well,
we
Let's
met.
have some
we-
old stuff.
We've seen that in the past, that Edith Cobb's newspaper articles
Oh,
about
yes.
the area and about
Yeah.
as much as was known about the
Is
cannonballs.
that what he was
Production
referring
and
to?
and the mills and
Yeah.
and her sketches.
Mhm.
I mean, I have that.
Yeah, I do have a copy
Yeah, we
too.
both-
Sure.
yeah, both-
Because I was thinking we should get that to, sorry about that. make sure we get that to Mass Historic. So it
Okay.
goes under their records, you
Yeah.
know, and, they know that of the historic importance of it. But, I think I have that too. I thought he might have given you more information, but no.
Well, he's been a little elusive, because like, for the book, Tom and I met with him and he started, but I think, is there more, you know, I don't know, I'm not sure if he has all access to his mother's research, say,
But he said a lot of it is missing. Family member took it. And he never got it back or something like that. Right, he doesn't have a lot of the things that he used to have.
And Craig, one quick piece of information that connects to something you said. I had a chance to meet kind of the head biologist with Division of Marine Fisheries, Brad Chase, when they're doing their annual with the fight nets, where they're monitoring, you know, the herring and other that are coming up this time of year. And we're doing this for the book just to connect. And I asked him about what his thought was for Trout Brook, and then going up to Russell Pond with the restoration after the breach project. And he said he feels it's definitely going to help the herring return. And there's a engineering role that Division of Marine Fisheries has, a role to review the new fishway and make sure that it's going to work to the best that they can. So and I wasn't asking to, like, you know, someone's complaining about this, but just, hey, what do you think? And he said it's going to be a benefit. They see a real value to doing that. So
Yeah.
You know, whatever that, I mean, it's worth a lot.
Okay. And the old barren ground intrusion, we briefly mentioned that about, in the minutes. We'll have to go over there. We'll go over and talk to those people.
Sure, yeah, I think it's, we were looking at maps last week, and I really believe that it makes common sense that they feel that the boundary is a straight line. But if you look on the surveying map, it's not a straight line. And I think if we show it, they'll go, oh yeah, okay, you know, it's
Yeah.
you know, it's just I think it's just a misunderstanding of where their boundaries are.
Yeah.
Getting
was-
worse as well.
It was
Getting
Charlie
worse.
Brown.
It is getting worse, yeah, it is.
It was Charlie Brown's grave.
Right, Charlie Brown's grave.
Charlie Brown's great.
One of the stones right next to
Yeah,
her.
Charlie Brown, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Evergreen, they do own the property out in back of the Hearst house.
Yes,
And there's nothing you can do about that. They are putting stuff out there.
yeah,
Nothing we can.
Where
do about
behind
it.
her house?
Yeah.
Yeah, between the Hearst house and the Evergreen driveway, there's stuff out there, but they own that. They own, what, maybe 12 to 15 feet out and back there. So what they put out there, it's just an eyesore. We can't do anything about it, but if they are on the graves, they should.
no,
So are they,
On the graves.
Do they own out to the street that far back too?
Doesn't own, they don't own, you mean going the driveway into Evergreen?
Yeah, alongside the
They
driveway.
own, I can't remember exactly what the distance was, but it's like 15 feet or something like that out in back of the Hearst, between the Hearst house and the Evergreen driveway. And then they own part of the frontage to the front between Green and the Hearst house. They own some land.
Mhm.
But they just don't own the backside of it where they've got their patio set up.
Yeah. Okay, I contacted, Professor Zimmerman out there in Bridgewater State. And, they had completed their ground penetrating radar, studies. And the girl that was working on it, she just got a job when she graduates with the Public Archaeology Lab in Providence. And so they had to go get help to do it with the company and all the stuff to analyze all the data. She made up a poster that she presented at some event, and it concerns us and another cemetery that they were working on. And it's just a brief thing about it. They did find some anomalies, and nothing in here about the road, but they did mention the powder house. They weren't very successful with that, but they do have some anomalies of graves. So he wants her to come out. They got a full report they're gonna make up, and you know how Zimmerman's reports are, very detailed, which is great. And they want to come out, they want to come out to a meeting to present the report, and he wants her to come out and do the presentation too.
Great.
So I asked him if he wants to come out the next, meeting, June 12th, to do that. And if it is, because here it's not very clear what was found where, you know, but they
That's
did
so cool.
find, yeah, they did find curved area. If you look in the middle, curved area from the back of the church that might have been an underground, it's underground now, but like a gated entrance to the church in the back or something.
Yeah.
So it's something we may want to look at later. But it's fascinating, really. So you guys can look at that. I'll ask them to come to the next meeting and give their results. Maybe your dog will be all right then, Lynn.
You know, that's exactly what Colonial said,
Well,
that those box tombs are so much larger. And over time, the ground is built up and there were entrances that walked into them.
yeah, they think, but I think he thinks it's on the green side, right?
He said he thought it would probably be on that side before they built that wall, and he
Mhm.
wasn't sure, but they feel it is, so
Yeah,
that's
That's
good evidence.
very
That's
interesting,
very
yeah.
good evidence, yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Ah, that's exciting,
be
actually.
good to see some pictures.
Good.
And finally, tonight, we had a demo permit that we ignored. We didn't ignore it. I think we discussed it. It was the barn out there on May Ave.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we wanted some more evidence on those doors. Those doors were deemed historically important.
Well, to see if they were, right?
Yes.
And I don't know what happened, but we dropped the ball. So it's actually, I don't know, it may not even be there anymore.
You know, it's a good possibility. It may not be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but that barn could be.
Yeah, it could be, and we're actually past the date. People, it's 2 months, we're 2 months now into this. I think we have 45 days to respond to it. So, yeah. So we should have done this a while ago, but we didn't. So normally if we don't do anything, it's allowed to proceed. I haven't, and normally though, I get something from the building inspector reminding us about it. And it may be it's still sitting there. So, I guess I'll have to contact him and see where it is. And, or what's your pleasure? I mean, we could just say tonight. We still want to look at the doors if we got them, or,
Sure.
all right, well, we'll see if it's still around and, take a look at the doors. Because we don't know anything really about the barn, other than that, what we see from the outside. And we know it's collapsing. So there may be pieces we could see. So I'll, contact him.
Was it a blacksmith shop or?
Did anybody find anything out about that last time? I don't think I have anything. Let's see, what were we saying?
What was the house number?
Well, it's listed as 115 Main Street.
But you pretty much have to go down May Ave to see it. It's actually off of May Ave.
There was a blacksmith there. Doesn't say that was his shop. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't really say for sure what it was. Oh, so, we'll see what we can do with that. Otherwise, we're out. And that's the end of our scheduled thing tonight. Almost 8:15. Anything else we have to talk about tonight, except next meeting date, which should be the regular Wednesday, second Wednesday. I think it's June 12th.
Yep.
So that's,
It's almost 8:15.
yes, I almost made it. I gotta get home. What?
Don't worry.
No, it's for dinner. Just making
No, I
fish
mean, I'm
dinner.
just letting you know I have nothing to say.
Really?
Ah,
I doubt that.
You cooperative.
Very cool. Anybody else, anything important to say tonight? No? All right, need a motion to adjourn,
Make a motion to adjourn?
all there.
Aye.
Aye.
Lynn, you ready?
So,
We're adjourned.
Yeah,